Hello, hello, beautiful people. This is Angie Grimes, your quantum architect, and we are going over the Alchemize Your Energy transit for October 14th, 2022. Today, we are going to be discussing gate 32. Yeah, gate 32. This particular gate is called the Gate of Continuity. And what we're really going to be looking at in the challenge state here is the fear of failure. This particular fear has a deep biological root built into our DNA. And if we look at early ancestors, they actually had the exact same fears that we have today, although it was manifested a bit differently. The individual fear of failure is actually rooted in the collective fear of failure to survive as a species. And our ancestors at the time recognized that we had a better chance of survival if we stayed together and operated in packs. Or tribes, I guess. If we were to refer to them as tribes, they consisted really of a network of individuals and families. And they brought together these individuals with different skills and responsibilities. And when they were pulled together, the implications of that was that there was enormous improvement in the chance of survival. Back then, if an individual became isolated or ostracized from the group, it almost certainly spelled death. Now, I want to translate this ancient fear for a moment into the present. Obviously, for most people in the world, this genetic fear is responsible for keeping alive many tribal lines and traditions. However, I'm noticing that in the West, we can see something different occurring. We no longer actually have strong tribal family structures. Most young adults leave their families seeking opportunities outside the old family structures, which leads to the dismembering of those older structures and the support that they offered. Now, the reason for this trend is that today, this modern world revolves around money. Our collective fear of survival is almost entirely projected into the amount of money we have. And the fear of failure as a feeling inside our physical body is ultimately linked with money. We've created a world in which individual groups operate independently of each other in their need to compete and maintain their genetic lines. Now, it may not seem that way, but the fear that exists is actually the same old fear. And your desire to have a bigger house, a faster car, is actually born out of a huge collective energy field of fear and competition. Now, the larger your bank balance, the less chance there is of failure in that way. At least that's how your mind thinks of it at the challenge frequency. And this is the reason that money has become the great symbol of success in our world today. But, and this is a big but, the entire money game is an illusion. It's nothing more than a symbolic mirage. And the very existence and notion of money feeds the same ancient genetic fear that's always existed. It exists in the background of our lives. Money remains one huge issue for most people on our planet. And I would ask you, why is this? The answer is that fear always needs something on which to feed. Even if we were to eradicate money from our civilization, fear would simply find another place to live. It is fear itself we have to conquer, not money. True success means no longer being ruled by the concepts of success and failure. This particular challenge ensures that human beings will always remain selfish, restricting themselves to small elitist groups, families, business. Until we can raise the consciousness of humanity as a whole, we will always remain essentially stingy in our spirit, confining ourselves to our own gene pools and our own little tribal circles and cliques. As our ancient ancestors discovered, failure really means one thing: to be isolated. The moment you cut yourself off from your tribal support, you lose touch with the living chain that nourishes you. We have become so adept at survival that if you have enough money, you can flourish in isolation without ever seeing anyone. But this challenge is not only about people, it's about life as a whole. We live isolated from the earth. We think in terms of survival for our own families and what's best for our cultures, but we've not raised our group consciousness enough to think in terms of our species. Although the fear of this challenge has its roots deep within the human immune system, it's the mind that reacts to it and feeds off of it. If you're not in control of your mind or aware of its power, then your mind will run your life, which means that fear will run your life. To raise the consciousness of the mind is to escape the grip of all fear. This doesn't mean that we will never feel these ancient fears. At the gift frequencies, we probably will, because they're still a part of our planetary consciousness, but we no longer have to react to them. That is the key. These fears have actually served their purpose. They've kept us alive and allowed us to flourish. Until we begin to think in far wider terms beyond our own little lives, we will remain isolated in our own little boxes with our own little bank accounts. Failure is only an outcome when you cut yourself off from the whole. When you raise your frequency beyond the reach of concepts such as success and failure, you remember that all of life moves in a great universal pattern. As you let go into this pattern, you will always find your natural support within it. When you surrender to the greater pattern and raise your consciousness above the fear threshold, money always arrives just when it is needed. Money actually provides a wonderful lesson in letting go of fear, and in many respects, it's become one of the new teachers here on this planet. While we are here, which by the way is not forever, we should make the fullest use of it as an outer symbol of our ability to surrender to higher forms of consciousness. Every time you feel yourself worrying about money, smile. Take a very deep breath right into that diaphragm and relax. When you truly need it, it will always be there. This particular gift is the gift of preservation. And it's truly a noble gift because it's about seeing beyond your own world. It means going beyond selfishness. This gift is about keeping things alive. It's not just about keeping anything alive. It's about knowing what to keep alive. If we talk in terms of investment, that can be understood on many levels. You have the potential of a powerful instinct for sensing the long-term picture in all situations. Individuals with this gift also often have a deep capacity for restraint. They have the strength to withhold their energy or money from situations that appear tempting, but that in the long term would not serve them. By the same token, this gift enables people to trust in an instinct, especially about other people, that does not often appear to be logical, but in the end will be extremely beneficial to them and to many others. The secret to this gift is the instinctive ability to balance restraint, what to keep alive, and risk, what to change. These are people who inherently know that if you want to maintain success in life, you have to have an unflinching set of principles, coupled with a constant need to update and expand on your original investment. The 30-second gift is not about self-preservation. It's about the preservation of life. That which only will adapt itself can survive and flourish. This gift has the ability to assess the past, weeding out weaknesses and building upon strengths. There's a natural understanding of the ebb and flow of the seasons and the rhythms of nature. It allows them to instinctively recognize when something is dying and to decide whether it needs to be pruned or disposed of altogether. You have to retain that which is strong and then graft the new onto that which is strong. In this way, you always maximize your energies. This gift of grafting can be applied across any and every field of human endeavor. It's usually the fear of failure that prevents human beings from adapting to a new system. Success at the gift level is about economy, and economy comes from being in harmony rather than in competition. So this week, I ask you, how can you sink in further and really trust in your nervous system, in your body, that what you need will come to you as you need it? And when that happens, that opens up the floodgates for more. I hope you have the most amazing week.